The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
This week's episode of PSVG Prime is brought to you by the amazing Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/PSVG. Huge shout out, thank you to Coach Hulk, Edwin Callow, Barry Cathcart, Josh Barboni, Chris M, Devin Tyus, Paul Calicote, Kyle Heyman, Benny Lou, and Joel Voss, aka Professor Switch. Thank you all for your support, your kind words, and honestly, your love, because we cherish that love right at the bottom of our cold, dead hearts. But each month, if you're not on Patreon, you get some cool things. Number one, PSVG DLC, newest episode just dropped. It did just Josh, really. Josh was the star. Josh was the star of this week's PSVG DLC with some insane stories, which I apologize if you're offended to any of it, but whatever.
Set it to don't go chasing waterfalls, is what I was thinking.
In case you didn't know, spoilers, Donnie's in this week's episode. You know, he's just this is what happens when he joins. We also give you Arcadia Academia, Kevin Hates Everything, as well as being entered into our monthly giveaways. So current offerings this month include the $20 Apex Legends credit, NBA 2K Playgrounds on Switch, or $20 to the eShop of your choosing. And Donnie threw in for this month a PlayStation Classic, which may or may not be modded, which may or may not have the approval of Brian. Spoilers for PSVG DLC. And, yeah, you get entered into those each and every month. But
it comes with, like, special instructions that you have to boot up in a certain way. When there's, like, an index card, like, don't do this. You could break it.
Up, down, left, right.
There you go.
Square, circle, X, I guess would be the translation.
Right.
And we have to give away something tonight. So, you know, I was going to do it later in the show, but since Donnie just rampaged all over this anyway, Donnie, we're going to put all the names into the little machine.
That's correct.
The Flux the Pose machine. We're borrowing it from Lucas. So, Lucas, if you want to crank that thing up for me. We're a high budget show here, everybody. High budget show. Donnie, who we got? Who's this month's winner?
Nick is this month's winner. He was the first person when we hit the click randomize button, better known as Romaine in the Discord. So we will let him know right away, and he will have his choice of one of the lovely prizes. And we'll announce what will replace that prize after he picks it next week.
Fair enough. So stay tuned next week to find out what that next prize will be. And if you want to get in all the action, head on over to patreon.com/PSVG. But now, let's get on with the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of PSVG Prime. It is I, your host, your master of ceremonies, your funk master Flex, Kevin. And with me, as always, is the lovely, charming, oh so dreamy Lucas Rose.
Hi, guys. Hi, hey, Kevin. How's it going?
How you doing?
You're really boosting my ego. I feel like you're gonna ask me out soon. Like you're just buttering me up. And eventually you're going to be like, so when are we going to make this official?
Well, see, what you don't realize, this actually isn't even a podcast. Nobody hears this. This is our weekly date. You just don't know it. I mean, you're leaving your wife and kids. You're coming to talk exclusively with me in most cases. Tonight's a threesome. Tonight's a threesome, though, but we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, this is just my way of dating you without you knowing.
Wow, this is a really weird courtship. But, in this day and age, the day and age of the internet and Facebooks, and grinders, I'm fine. I'm good. Blenders, grinders.
I wonder if this would get us banned on Twitch? Guy dating on Twitch? If we stream that, would that be?
I hope so, dude.
I mean, I think you two have fully covered that nothing will get you banned on Twitch.
It's true.
You can literally do anything. I think you
can't
set up if you're a guy.
you can't stream in a bathroom, even though you don't show anything.
I mean, did it get him banned? He didn't get him banned.
He got him banned for 2 weeks. His channel was taken down.
That's not like banned. That's just he had a vacation.
Well, yeah. But it was an unplanned vacation right smack in the middle of E3 while he was covering E3, so that kind of puts a damper on your time frame there. But hey, now I think with some news we'll talk about later, he might be the undisputed king of Twitch now. Like, he's probably really happy today. Just saying.
Ooh.
We'll get to that later. So, if you couldn't tell, that third voice in our threesome Which, I mean, when you talk about threesome, I don't think it really surprised you anyway that Donnie might be involved based on DLC stories. Donnie's here.
Good.
You know what?
Brand.
The first thing I think of when I hear threesome, the first thing is golf. By far. Far and away. Donnie knows what I'm talking about, right?
Unless you're playing at like a high level, most golf courses want you to be in a foursome at all times.
Hey, that's real crazy.
Yeah, I could see.
They don't like threesomes out like on the Muni courses because you wreck the speed of play. Like everybody, you start playing ahead and start playing into people and whatnot. Like nobody wants that.
Well, in the third person, do they like get a separate golf cart? Or they try to ride on yours and
you're
then
just
it's
the third
weird?
wheel. And you got to drive alone. You don't miss any of the fun. They're talking about you the whole time. It's an awkward mess.
That's very awkward.
Brings a whole new definition to the term rough, huh?
That's it.
Balls deep in the rough.
Greetings, Koopalings. What's going on?
What is up? Welcome to the new PSVG, Donnie. Things have gone downhill since you left, really.
Is this new Coke?
Yeah, Lucas and I are the new Coke of PSVG. That's basically, I think that's a good way. The
That
taste
is a
isn't
very
for
good
everybody, but those who like it love it, and everyone else just can't stand it, really. Don't want it to come back.
Canceled soon.
Yeah, they don't want it to come back. It'll make a guest cameo in Stranger Things years later, and people will all of a sudden love it again. I don't know. But before we get too deep into bad conversation in DLC territory, we're here to talk about games. So each and every week we start things off by talking a little bit about what we've been playing. And Donnie, since you're the guest, ladies first.
You know, I haven't been playing a lot of stuff. So really, I've been playing Fire Emblem, which I talked about on Nintendo Shack already for, a ton. And then I played Wolfenstein Youngblood with Kevin, and I'll let you talk about that. But I really just wanted to come and tell Lucas that I kind of feel for him because what
is going on tonight?
I've been watching a ton of movies. I've been on a spree of movies for the last up until I got Fire Emblem.
That's crazy.
I think I've gone through 2 or 3 movies a week for the last 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row.
Wow. I know, like 3 months ago, I feel like you were like, I barely ever watch anything. And if I do, I'm playing video games while I watch it. Now you're like, all I do is watch movies. For me, that usually happens around like October because then I start looking for horror movies and all that. Horror movies,
yeah.
But
I have a hard time getting through games in October because I get onto like those AMC like 30 days of horror or like Shudder's 30 days of horror like marathons and I just start watching a movie a day.
Yeah. It's nuts. I know what's going on.
I have a question that I think is both timely and I think this is the perfect show to ask this question. My wife hasn't seen either one of these movies in full. So the next movie that I'm going to introduce her to and let her watch for the first time, should it be Top Gun or Iron Eagle?
I've only seen Top Gun, and that was just recently. But I don't know about your wife, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and that's why it is so ridiculous. I'm not sure if I can sit through and watch it again.
It's like a living meme. It just goes on, and you're just like,
that's a perfect description.
Like a Twitter conversation thread or something. I don't know what's going on.
The
shorts, the weird like back and forth between Maverick and Iceman. Was it? Where it's just kind of like I know there were always jokes, but then you watch it and you're just like, I've never seen two people who are rivals ever act like this unless they were in love.
The shorts in Top Gun give the shorts in Sleepaway Camp a serious run for their money. So, Kev, have you ever seen Iron Eagle, the other F fighting? No, neither one of you have seen this movie?
Nope. Top Gun I've seen
the kid who goes to try to save his dad and he has to fly a jet and all that. Can't ruin it for you. Oh, man, you guys got to see it. It's good. All right, so maybe I'll have to do it on my own. I just want to watch Iron Eagle again. But when I showed it to her, she was like, "Is that the Tom Cruise movie?" I was like, "Oh God, no, it's not the Tom Cruise movie."
It looks like it's trying to be.
It is. That's
I'm trying to remember what Sleepaway Camp is. Is it? I think it's the one.
That's a weird horror movie.
Well, wait, yeah. I did.
One of the best endings of all scary movie cinema.
No.
Yes. No. One of the best endings.
If it's the movie I'm thinking of, it's not one of the best endings.
What is the movie you're thinking of? I mean, I think we can spoil a movie that came out in 1984.
At the end, it's not a girl, right? Is that this one?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
And tell me that visual isn't like the scariest thing, like with the mouth and the look. I mean, it's terrifying.
Well, when I saw it, I was probably like 8 or 9.
Oh,
so
that's had to be disturbing.
I no. My mom introduced me to horror movies very early on. I was 6 when I saw my first one. It was Friday the 13th 3D, and I saw it in 3D. So that was my introduction to horror. So yeah.
That was back when movies were scary.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, so I do remember that one vaguely, but honestly, the only thing I remember is the ending of that movie. I couldn't tell you what happens through most of it, just that. And I was like, oh my God.
Because it's iconic.
Sure. We'll go with that. Iconic.
Oh, it's good. It's great.
So, all right. So you haven't been playing anything other than what you just mentioned.
Fire Emblem. Yeah, I talked about Fire Emblem for 30 minutes yesterday, so there's no point in rehashing that. I like Fire Emblem. Do you guys have questions about Fire Emblem that I can answer for you?
I have a quick question because I remember leading up to this, and I have yet to hear Nintendo Shack, so I haven't heard you talk about it for 30 minutes. But my question is this. Is it really as much of a Harry Potter / high school relationship dating simulator as I feel like the internet has joked it up to be?
I would say yes.
Oh.
And now I say that.
Oh, no.
I am not. I don't know anything about Harry Potter, so I don't know how much like of that you might be looking for.
There are houses,
but there are and it is a great part of the game, and it's a part of the game that both Caroline and myself are enjoying quite a bit. And there's a lot of it. There's a lot there. There's a lot of support conversations. There's private tea times. There's gift giving. There's lost items. There's lost and found things. You're doing a lot of things to build support amongst your characters, and there's a lot of dialogue and a lot of side stories to get into if you want to do that stuff.
Sounds like Dead or Alive volleyball when you try to romance the girls.
It is. It's pretty horny. It's a pretty horny game.
Oh God.
Without like, but here's the thing though. It's not like past Fire Emblems have definitely had, I don't know what the right word, more suggestive costumes. Like everybody's pretty buttoned up so far, like most of the costumes and everything. But outside of that, all the dialogue and everything, as Caroline would use a word, it's pretty thirsty. That's what she says.
Ooh.
There's quite a few characters that are quite thirsty in this game.
Can you quench that thirst?
You can quench that thirst.
Very good. Is it so? It's like Sprite, basically. Fire Emblem is
Sprite.
Three Houses is Sprite.
No, I mean, Caroline's played it much more than I have. But there's like a ball. She was telling me about a dance. You do have the option to try it.
It is like Harry Potter.
There's an option that you can try to marry a character if you do that like quite a bit. And there's like that's a whole in-game part of it and all that. So, yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. So this whole marry date thing, like that's not new to Fire Emblem. They've done it for a little bit now. But
right.
You're in the middle of a freaking war. Who's sitting there wasting time romancing somebody and then getting married? Like, that is stupid. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Just because there's war going on doesn't mean people aren't people.
People
are always
war never changes.
People are always going to be people, Kev.
Well, what is it good for?
Anytime you get women and men together, dude, things are going to happen.
I want Child Protective Services to look into the school because apparently there's stuff going on that should not be happening with adults and people
they
under the
hire
consent
some
age.
weird teachers.
Anytime you get a group of co-eds, you put them all together for however long, there's going to be some relationships. There's going to be some shipping.
Turns into a golf course is what you're saying?
Sure.
Lucas, when you're done, Google Fire Emblem Manuela.
I'm thinking you shouldn't.
Okay.
I'm thinking you definitely shouldn't.
Google that.
I'll just delete my history after.
Go incognito.
God.
I you know what? I'm not even gonna go incognito.
Oh.
I'm gonna get crazy with it and see.
You're gonna share your screen right now and Google.
Yeah. Let's look.
Let's find out now. All right, so I'll go next because Donnie and I have one in common. So I'll start though with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. I'm still playing that. Not really gonna talk too much about it other than I'm in Wakanda now.
Finally, how long did it take to get there? I just finished. Oh God, it's been a week since I played it. I just finished the X-Men base school.
Oh, you got like 2 or 3 more levels before you hit Wakanda.
Oh, okay. Wow.
You go to space and some stuff happens out there, and then you come back to Wakanda. But I will say the game all of a sudden got super hard when we reached Wakanda. They introduced snipers, and the snipers suck. Like they will 2-hit kill your heroes. before you even reach them. So like the game all of a sudden has this like hack and slash just beat 'em up button masher to all of a sudden like, oh no, I can't just rush in. I actually have to dodge stuff because if I get hit twice, the character is dead. Those things suck. But the good thing is you can
say like Mario Rabbids. Snipers in that game are pretty lethal.
Yes. Yeah. Luckily they're in bright purple uniforms, so they're kind of easy to spot, but they suck. So when you hit that point, just be ready for that and go after them first before you do anything else. Otherwise your team will get wrecked. But other than that, I'm still liking it. It's more fun as we unlock the characters. I'm kind of discovering the different nuances between the different people, trying out different characters and stuff.
Can I ask you a question? Because I have this on my list too, but I haven't played a whole lot of it. But I wanted to bring up one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like your characters are underpowered? Because we talked a little bit about that.
The boss battles are meant that way. Like you're supposed to take 10, 15 minutes sometimes in some boss battles, some of them.
Okay.
But as you level up, it does get easier, and if you're using your abilities and comboing them and stuff like that, it'll work. But definitely the boss battles take, like, it just ramps up in difficulty. Like, you're fine, then all of a sudden it takes you forever to beat the boss.
Yeah, I feel like I have to grind a little bit or something. And I do use the cubes and stuff, but like I said, I've switched my guys out, and girls, out a couple of times, and I think that's to my detriment.
It's also worth looking at the buffs your team gets. So as on your team select, you have like your bonuses at the top. It's worth looking at that to see if you're benefiting from that at all.
Yeah.
Make sure you do your lab stuff where you can upgrade those you unlock those things in the lab. Yeah. Work on that because those gives you buffs as well too. Those are kind of like the only things you can really do to help other than just grinding. But I mean, I haven't had to stop and say, okay, I'm going to go back and replay this level to level up my character. I did right before Wakanda though. Step out of story mode and did those rifts. I forget what they call them. Yeah. The Infinity Trials or whatever.
Yep.
I did a few of those because you do get a bunch more XP cubes and stuff. So I did some of those, which allowed me to upgrade some people and also level up my abilities more.
Yeah, see, I went back and did like a level 7 or 8 rift with level 10 and 11 characters, and I'm like, this is kind of how I want to feel. I feel like when I'm on level with the other characters, I don't feel super because it takes so long to kill just the regular bad guy. So there's that little bit of kind of getting used to the fact that you don't. It's not Dynasty Warriors. You don't kill mobs of enemies in like 2 hits or whatever.
It's definitely not like that. And I'm dreading once we get to the end because I do know. I won't spoil what happens, but apparently the final battle, some people are saying like it takes up to 40 minutes.
Oh.
Because it's a gauntlet style thing and not Infinity Gauntlet, like not just one character, you're fighting multiples. And it just goes on for a while. So I'm not looking forward to that, but I do want to beat the game and I'm going to buy the DLC because I want to get the other characters.
Thank goodness for standby mode then, because
that ain't happening.
I'll be able to do it.
Exactly. Like just put a standby mode. I'll play it tomorrow on my lunch break. Yep. So I thought Blair Witch was coming out this week. It's actually at the end of the month. See, the mistake was I took Donnie's word for it. So as I talked about last week, saying like, oh, I'm going to play Blair Witch. And then the day I went to go look for it, I'm like, oh, it's not here. And then I searched like, oh, it's the end of August. So I'll be waiting. So I looked for something else to play and I settled on Dead Rising 4. I'm in love. This game is freaking awesome. Yeah.
That's good. I downloaded it too because I want to get to it, but I'm having a lot of fun. So I've played a few of the Dead Risings, kind of like hit or miss. And I know like one of my problems with the Dead Rising series in the past was this whole like crunch for time. Like, hey, you only have 30 minutes or whatever to do whatever. I really like that game. The one where you're like trying to save your daughter and everything.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like my favorite one.
They've removed that element from this game, at least so far. I haven't come across anything saying you have X amount of time to do it. It's like, no, you just survive. Find a way to survive. Heal yourself, get new weapons, craft new weapons, all on the fly. Like there's a very few safe zones you can hide in to do stuff. So it's like all as it's going on, but it's just chaos. And like you craft these ridiculous weapons, like the sledgehammer, grenades attached to it. There's all sorts of crazy ass things, but starts off in a mall. Typical of the other ones too as well. But there's also humans there who are like a militia. So there's like people with semi-automatic weapons plus the zombies. But all the humans hold themselves up inside of like a castle that's in the middle of the mall, like labeled like medieval time where people are like LARPing. But like, so you get there and you taunt the people to let you in by making fun of their mother. Like the game is really funny too. I will say that, which I don't remember the other ones being this hysterical. Like it's meant to be like a comedy movie almost, like a Shaun of the Dead experience is what I'm getting from this.
Okay.
So you taunt the guys to let you in, and then when you get in, you whoop their ass. But like they're in full like suits of armor with like swords, and like you just run in with like a baseball bat and you gotta wreck them, and then you take their weapons and stuff. But it's a lot of fun, very funny. I cleared the first 2 cases. The first case is really like a prelude, which is really short. And then the first case, they call it, is the mall, which I completed that. So I can move on to City Hall now. But you can always go back and continue things in areas you didn't fully clear or didn't unlock all the, unlockables or safes and stuff like that to get more items and stuff. So you can always go back. It's all like one big giant stage. It just unlocks phases of it. So really, really cool. Really, really funny. So I'm all for it. So it's on Game Pass. So anybody listening, if you're interested and have Game Pass, check it out for sure. I think it's a good balance between the old ones and the new ones, because there's kind of been stuff in every Dead Rising I've enjoyed, but there's always like one thing that took me out of it. And this one I haven't found that thing to take me out of it, but it's taking the best from each entry and putting it all together into one and then making it a little funny. So yeah,
That sounds pretty cool.
yeah. What's not cool? Well, actually, I shouldn't say it's not cool. Donnie and I are hot off a stream of Wolfenstein Youngblood. We played about an hour and a half, I think. Once we got into it, once we figured out how to get Donnie's audio on the stream, because nobody could hear him, so they could just hear me, which makes for a weird watching experience. But game visually looks great. Very smooth running, looks fantastic. Problem is 10 seconds into the stream, I get stuck in a wall. And Donnie posted some pictures in the Discord of me stuck in the wall. And it was like literally right at the start, so we had to reboot.
Like with your leg, like a bit backwards.
Yeah, I saw your
Back
character
hip
model
and everything. That was super weird. It was funny.
Yeah, I crawled into a vent, and all of a sudden my character just stood up randomly and was just stuck, and I couldn't duck again. That's, what Donnie's picture doesn't capture what I was seeing. I was seeing a totally different angle. Like, I would just see the wall and I was stuck. So I couldn't see left or right for him to see my whole body. So I don't know how it projected differently in that. But other than that, I will say the game is fun. The gunplay is great. It's Wolfenstein. With that being said, boss battles, it's Wolfenstein. Some of these characters in this game are insane bullet sponges. Like the first boss we encountered has a very Predator-like ability where he can kind of cloak himself. So you only see like a little shimmer, and you're like, oh wait, he's right there. Let's shoot and reveal him. We had to dump thousands of bullets in this guy.
Yeah,
like we had 4 guns.
I think 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, we have 4 different guns. Ran out of ammo in all of them. Got more ammo. Ran out of them again. Just to beat him. Yeah, just like Kara was in the chat mocking us the whole time, saying how bad we were. We don't claim to be great, but we weren't that bad. Like, it was just nuts how much we have to hit this guy while he's doing all these things and getting ambushed by people who just randomly showed up that weren't there. Like, we got ambushed behind by like a squad, like 5 or 6 militia.
Yeah, and after doing it, I mean, that was just their way of getting you more ammo.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, these guys come down the elevator and the door is open and they popped out. Now, the first time they did that, I happened to just be on the other side of the elevator shooting at the main guy. So I didn't even realize until I was dead that they were shooting me from behind. The second time now, after we died and we came down, then we knew as we started to run out of bullets, like, okay, here come the guys that come down the elevator. Let's go kill them really fast and pick up their guns. Yeah. And we had to empty all of those into the guy as well before we could advance. So, yeah. I mean, we probably dropped 12 machine guns of Wolfenstein into this guy before we could advance past it.
And that was the first boss.
Yeah, I mean,
yikes.
I didn't think it was super fun. I was not having a lot of fun.
Yeah, so. It was tough. But other than that, like, I think we had fun except for that boss.
Yeah,
like,
the other things were good. Yeah, like the main characters, especially the ones with the power suits and stuff, that was good because they chased you. Yeah. They flanked us. And there's a lot of room for that, especially in this little train car or whatever we were on. This blimp.
Airship.
This blimp. There were a lot of corridors to go left, right, up, or down, and lots of different cubicles in between. So you could be advancing forward and have no idea because the enemies they don't appear on your mini map until you like see them. So if they go around you, you never see them. You have no idea. There were lots of times there's like, dude, there's a guy in your 6.
Yep.
Like, turn around real quick. Here he comes. He's coming right up through the door. So that was good. That was fun. A lot of that was fun. And boy, that first power suit guy we had to. But that was more fun because he chased us all over the level. Yes. We had more room to operate. We were running from back and forth to pick up health and pick up new weapons to keep dumping into this guy. That was more of a challenge, whereas the boss was just kind of tedious.
Yeah, we feel a little underpowered at this point, but it's the AI, as Donnie's saying, like, basically the AI is really good in this game. Like, the AI is smart, which is kind of crazy, and it makes for a hard thing. Like, I don't know if we need to level up more or unlock different things, but, like, yeah, we feel a little
and I think that
to start.
I mean, yeah, we haven't updated any of our abilities. We don't have any of these special things that we can do or these awesome guns yet. So, yeah, I mean, we should feel this way right now.
Yeah.
But maybe save the cloaking stuff until later.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, we'll see. I plan on keep playing it. Hopefully we can continue to do co-ops because I don't I don't feel like this would be as fun solo. You can play solo.
We didn't talk about these
but
characters at all, which neither one of us were really feeling at all.
Yeah, so you play as BJ Blazkowicz's twin daughters, and they have Southern accents.
That's saying
sometimes,
and
it's
serious
like real.
Southern
Yeah. Like, Jess, I need your help over here. How you feeling? I'm feeling better than a buttered gravy biscuit or something they said at one point. I'm like, what? But then they drop it entirely at other points and they talk normal. There are other moments
where it doesn't sound like that, and then they kind of play on it. But even then, the writing, like their dialogue alone, is just kind of
super cheese,
very cheesy.
But not BJ Blazkowicz like Duke Nukem tongue in cheek cheese. It's like just cheese. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So that part's a little unfun. And I don't think it can really get better as you play the game. Like, I think they're just going to repeat the same stuff and we might find it more annoying, but
I don't know. We have to play it. Yeah. I don't know.
But the gunplay is fun. You know, the it looks good other than character's hair, but that's always a kind of tough thing.
Wolf 2 looked amazing too. Like, keeping up with that, it looks fantastic. I know I'm playing on my X and it looked great. Like the lighting and the guns and everything, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, so we'll report more on that. But yeah, if you want to check out the stream, I actually was uploading it to YouTube before we hit recording, so you can see it on the YouTube channel.
You do get these very Halo-esque power suits.
Yeah.
And that is your skill tree. So I'm imagining at some point we'll be able to, we can already double jump and like stomp, but at some point we'll be able to go invisible and have shields and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So
kind of sounds like Crysis a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of
because you have the mech suit that BJ has. But they're for you, and they're obviously a little more advanced because you're teenage girls. So, like, you're not this big, tough guy. So I think that's part of the reason why we're so...
They're a little faster.
Yeah, they're faster.
It's a little like Titanfall-esque. Like, if you
could
wall run, it would almost feel like that.
Yeah, you have the slide like in Apex and Titanfall. Like, you have that ability in there, too. But, yeah. I would like it. We'll see. We'll see how it keeps going. There's another point I was going to make, too, and I forgot now.
I wonder what the single player would be like if you didn't have someone to play co-op with.
I wonder if it would scale down because it was pretty tough.
It was tough. That was the other thing. So the shared lives, this is how it works too. So you get a certain amount of lives and you can pick up extra lives if you will. But the problem is, like, if we have 3 lives, that means one of us can die 3 times. So we don't get 3 lives each, but we can res the other person. As long as we both don't die, we can res somebody that doesn't cost a life. Like, you just get knocked down basically, and you can pick them up if you do it within a certain amount of time. Otherwise, you bleed out. So there is a dynamic of saving, but then you put yourself in jeopardy if you rush to your partner to save them.
The problem that I think we saw, the AI is so smart. If you're in a gunfight, there's just no way I could get to Kevin. The first time we died as a team, Kevin died kind of on the corner of a hallway. And I dropped 7 or 8 guys behind him trying to get to him, and I still died trying to get there. It's just like I couldn't run up to him. I would have died. Like, there's just no way. So
plus Donnie and I play very different. Donnie's low and slow, and like I'll sneak on people. Let's run in with the shotgun and go for the face, and that's what.
And then he sets off the alarm, and here comes the dudes with the power suits.
Yeah, I would have thought it was the other way around, actually.
Well, so I really like the melee. I love the melee stuff, whereas I'm not like trying to just shoot every gun I have. And Devin probably would agree with this, judging by the things he said about me when I play Destiny. I always have this thing ingrained in me. I think it's all the Resident Evil I played. Like, I'm always like saving ammo constantly. Forever I'm saving ammo. Like, I'm always worried about it. I'm always, every time I do a fight, every time I drop a person, I hit the reload button. Like, I'm constantly worried I'm going to run out of bullets at all times. But the melee combat is great. The first time I melee killed one of the guys, I was like, I'm carrying a hatchet. Yeah. And she walked up, kicked this dude in the leg, hatcheted him in the rib, and then grabbed him and hit him in the head. I was like, oh, I want to do this to everybody.
Every time.
All the time.
And the other time, there was a guy who was running up to me as I was reloading with his gun. She grabbed him by his gun, pulled him into her, shot him in the stomach, and then as he leaned over, shot him in the face.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's brutal. Yeah. It's good stuff.
It's good stuff. I was like, no, this is, I want to do this.
And I noticed, too, we didn't have a difficulty. Like, they didn't ask us what we wanted to play as. Like, we just started the game. So I wonder if there's a difficulty, and, like, maybe we need to drop it.
Maybe. Yeah.
So we'll see. We're not too proud to do that if need be. But, yeah. So I think that's it. We'll report more on that as we continue playing, and I'm sure I'm having fun. But Lucas, sir, besides Marvel Ultimate Alliance, what else you got?
Yeah, we already went over that. I did start Kingdom Come Deliverance. Now, this is a game that I wanted to buy, and I actually ended up getting it in Humble Bundle. And I I don't know. I didn't really know a lot about it other than it was like one of these single player melee medieval games. And I say single player because there are a lot of multiplayer games coming out where you do the medieval combat and it's all from a first person perspective and everything. But I was looking for more of a single player experience. So I started this game and I had the typical issues that you usually have with a PC game. So that was not a very good start. I was actually really bummed about that and kind of annoyed. I actually was playing with the controller for this one, and some of the controls didn't map to the controller correctly. For instance, I kept trying to. There's a part where you have to run away because this is part of the story. You're just supposed to run away. But you have this sword that you made with your father. That's the only weapon that you have on your person, and you can equip it if you want to try to fight. I don't know why you would, because you won't last a second, and I did not. And the problem is, to equip the melee weapon, you're supposed to press left on the D-pad. Well, for me, left on the D-pad was opening a menu. It was like opening the character inventory menu or something. So then I had to go look through Steam controller configs and all this other stuff. And that's what the problem was. And then by the time you do all that, you're just like, I don't even want to play now. I've been spending 30 minutes trying to figure this out. So that's definitely one of the lows of playing PC games. But here's the thing. Once I started it up and started getting into it, it is a very cinematic experience. It's very dry. Like, there's no humor at all, really. It's just a very medieval, this is what it was like to live back then type of game. There's speechcraft, and the dialogue system works off things like you can try to show off your status when you pick your dialogue options, and that's based on things like what you're wearing, how much money you have, or you can be an intimidator, but it also depends on like the armor and the weapons you're carrying, or you can, be a fast talker, and that of course depends on your speech skill. So I appreciate those differences, and a lot of the time in some games it feels like all of those can kind of lead to the same ending of the conversation, but I think here they actually went out of their way to make those things different, at least in the hour and a half that I've experienced so far. There's been quite a bit of story. There's been a lot of cinematics, and there was one part in particular when I was running from my home city or hometown for my life. Running for my life, I was running from these bad guys. I could not figure out like what I was supposed to do. It was very annoying, and I kept dying over and over. And this one little part where there's very little gameplay except running was kind of like there was this weird pacing issue, and it was like, here's a cinematic, now do this running portion that you're going to end up doing 20 times. Here's another cinematic. And I mean, I'm all for story and everything, but you got to throw a little gameplay in there too. Now, I think I'm finally past all of this opening part where this is the setting, this is what you're looking at here, this is the kind of game we got going on. So I'm hoping now I can actually get into the meat of the game.
Now, is this the game that like you start off and like your character like doesn't know how to read and you have to like teach him everything from? Okay, so Coach Mo played this and he liked it for a bit. I think eventually he came down on it, but I know he played it for a while and was like, this is the most realistic for good or bad like implementation in a game. I don't know if Josh played it.
Well, he has it now. I don't know if he's played it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost feels like an old school game back when graphics sucked, so they had to make simulation of everything. And it's like, well, you can't see it, but there's text here telling you that these things are happening. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and I've only, seen the surface level of all that there is. Like, for instance, I didn't know about the reading thing until I saw it in a tooltip on the loading menu. So I'm sure there's a lot of other things going on here. But I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. I enjoy these types of games when they're done well. And that combination of story and simulation is something that I'm looking forward to exploring once I can sit down and actually play a chunk of this game for a good good while.
The real game.
I just realized I don't even know what this game is. I was thinking the whole time you were talking about I thought you were talking about this PlayStation game that Josh played, where you have like the rats and it's like the girl and the kids.
No, that's
and all that.
Warhammer Vermintide. That was Vermintide. He was talking
No,
about.
he's saying No, I know what you're talking about. A Plague Tale.
Yes,
That's
that's it. I remember it had the rats and everything. That's in my mind as you were describing it. That's what I was thinking.
I can see why, because it's medieval and you know.
No, this is more like Skyrim, right?
Yeah, this is like Skyrim but realistic. It's very low fantasy to no fantasy. It's just literally medieval. So yeah. So I don't know. It looks really cool. There's a lot of art and history and lore about everything, and there's a lot of things to read that just tell you about this point in time. I think it's like 1580s or something. I don't know, but I don't know. Yeah, it just seems kind of cool and different from what I think that's the big thing. Different from what I've been playing lately.
Sure.
So
yeah,
I think that's probably why it's appealing to me right now. So yeah, I'm sure I'll talk about it a little bit more when I run into the frustrations of why I can't read, or like how do I read a map or see street signs and stuff. That'll be interesting. So far, it's only just told me where to go. So once the world opens up, I'm sure there will be a lot to talk about. So yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Fair enough. All right. So that wraps up what we've been playing. Let's jump into the questions you guys sent in. As you have the last couple weeks, especially Lucas and I have had our plates full, either answering or not answering questions depending on what they are. But it's time to check out the messages.
Message for you, sir.
First one up is from Delvin Cox, friend of the PSVG Podcast Network, one of the first champions of the PSVG Podcast Network, if you will. Sent in a question. He wants to know, Kevin, will you talk for 30 minutes about your snip like you did on the Games We Don't Pod? So for those of you that don't know, earlier this week I did record an episode of Games We Don't Play with Chowfie and Delvin Cox, and I don't even know how and when this episode releases, I'm going to have to listen back, but we almost immediately got on the subject of vasectomies, which Chowfie had a lot of questions about it. So, because I guess he's been thinking about it and like scheduling an appointment to go talk to somebody and then not doing it every single time, like multiple times. So he was like, well, I have experience. So I explained to him my story, which is kind of funny, almost DLC type material. Because that show is also uncensored. But yeah, so if you're interested, check it out. Games We Don't Play podcast. I will tweet out and retweet when the episode actually drops. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, I will not talk about it here.
Is it snip or is it just snip?
It was more lasers, actually. Lasers.
That's way more cool than it needs to be.
Yeah.
I say bring out the cleaver. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yikes. All right, so on to the actual questions, though. Josh Barboni sends in a question. What will Fortnite rip off next? So for those of you who don't know, the new season of Fortnite has dropped, and it introduced something revolutionary. We have never seen this in a game, guys. Mechs.
Wow.
Oh, wait. Titanfall did that. Oh, wait. You can go way back to MechWarrior. Halfpenny right now is like, oh my God, they're talking about mechs in PSVG.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. Fortnite has, I said this earlier in the chat, I think they've officially jumped the shark.
I was just
more
so
than they already did, because this isn't fair. So these new mechs are introduced, dropped onto the map. 2 players can control it together. 1 person technically could, but it'd be a lot of switching back and forth. Basically, 1 player controls the movement of the mech, and the other player controls the weaponry. But watching even just this trailer, these things can demolish anything you build in Fortnite. They can demolish any house. They're giant. I'm like, this is nuts, because if you drop in and you don't get one of these, how are you stopping this with like a shotgun? Like, it does not make sense. And people are actually arguing about it in the article I linked for you guys to look at it. People are saying it's not fun because you can't compete against these things. They will just wreck you right away. So it comes down to it. The game is really now just about getting there and getting those mechs as soon as possible, so that way you can get at least until like the final couple folks easily. And you can even set your mech to self-destruct and jump out of it to wreck people in a large area too. So it's like, it's really kind of OP. So yeah, I don't know. To me, it's gotten so far away from being what Fortnite used to be. And I mean, I haven't played in a while, so I'm not gonna sit there, but I did sink a lot of hours into Fortnite, as we all know. But I was never even one to engage in the building stuff. I never built anything, so I wasn't even doing that. Now you get to the point you have these mechs and helicopters and all sorts of crazy stuff. I'm like, this is just not a battle royale anymore. It's just a slaughter fest. So I don't get it. But as far as what they could possibly steal next, I don't know. Donnie, do you have an answer while I think about that? What do you think they'll copy next?
I have no idea. What's the cool thing Overwatch does?
Be good.
Actually, I got one. Finishing moves. Finishing moves.
Oh yeah.
So like Apex,
cool.
you can if you knock your player down but don't kill him completely, you can long press a button and you do like a finishing move to knock him out permanently. So I would say that'll be the next thing they do. I don't know if Overwatch does it, but I know Apex does it for sure.
Can you heal people in Fortnite?
Yes. If they're knocked down, you can revive them.
You can do everything. I'm surprised you're so anti it having fun things to do in it.
It's too much at once. If there were different modes, like,
It's
hey,
just
there's
a
a mech
season.
mode.
It's just a season. Let them go crazy for a season. Get back to your classical. You're talking about a game whose like primary mascot is the dude with like an afro that's like pink and orange, and he carries a unicorn on a stick and like jumps out of an airplane, has like a little air glider and things like that, and they ride around in shopping carts. I mean, Don't you think you're like there's too much? There is such a thing? I thought that's what it was.
You could have a mode with mechs, and I'd be fine with that. But if
You
it's
can
interjected
build
to every game,
plank
it's kind of
towers into the sky. Wasn't there like a pillar that like took off and a volcano exploded? Like, what are you talking about?
well, there was a volcano, because every season the map changes, and that was the
There
map.
you go.
change.
It's
Was there
just
volcano?
a
I don't know.
change.
I don't know how you can play if you can't get a mech. You can't play in this map.
You
in this
could
mode.
get Infinity Stones like 2 months ago. Like it's a crazy game, man.
But that was a special mode. That wasn't just in the regular core game. That was a
I
special
see.
event.
I see.
This is.
Ooh,
will
I
last
got
for
one.
3 months.
I got one.
Well, now you have to wait because Lucas was getting ready to talk, and then we jumped.
Damn it.
I wondered if you were gonna remember. I got 2 words for you guys.
Suck
You
it.
can't say no. You can't say it on the show. This isn't DLC.
Kart racing
Ooh, that's close to mine.
or Twisted Metal, one or the other.
Ooh, that's
okay.
good. That's good.
Like a demolition derby mode.
I'd buy
Yeah,
that.
that's more
season
what I'm
pass.
thinking.
I'd buy the hell out of that season pass. I'd
Yeah,
be there for
that'd be
that.
Cool.
That would be
Dick
cool.
Jaffe, man, get on it.
See, I like that. See, because you have different vehicles. You can have like somebody in a shopping cart,
Oh,
armed with
that would be
weapons.
crazy.
I love that.
Exactly.
That's great.
Hire
That's
me.
a good one.
I was gonna
Heard
say
that? Epic Hiram.
Splatfest, Turf War. Give everybody paintball guns.
And turf forward would be
That
cool.
would work. Yeah. See, I like that too. See, these are ideas.
These are all better than Max.
Well, and see, what you're saying though is these ideas, these would be separate game modes, because this wouldn't fit in a regular battle royale because you're not
That's
beating
true.
99 other people. So these are separate modes, which I'm okay with. It's just these core things
could
they
be,
put
though.
in that.
You could do both. You could battle for turf and get like bonuses for being the last person standing. You could still do both. You could get like extra experience if you're on the winning team.
Yeah. Okay.
You can have your cake and you can eat it too.
Add cake to Fortnite. They did that.
Yeah, I was the same.
The birthday event, they did that. They had the birthday cake.
The cake was not a lie in this.
No, it was not. It was there. All right. So last question. Caro sends in, who would win in an arm wrestling match, Kevin or Lucas, and why?
Now, did she actually write this, or did you?
No,
write
she
this?
actually wrote
wrote
this one. Unlike last week, which was 100% authentic interpretation of something she would have asked us in the exact words she would have asked us. This is an actual question she sent in though. Let's let Donnie go first.
Ooh.
What? She didn't ask me the question. This is a question for you two.
Okay,
No,
who
it's a
you
question for
who are
everybody.
you
Who would
putting
win?
money on?
I don't know. You both look like of adequate normal strength. I don't know. So Lucas works out though. So I might give Lucas the edge.
Well-
He has a recent fitness.
Recent isn't like 4 months ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say define recent.
Still, in the last year, Lucas has worked out way more than Kevin has.
Yeah,
So
that's believable.
it's true.
But honestly, my answer would have been Lucas anyway because I have zero confidence in my ability to do so. I have really strong legs. So if it was like something like I could deal with that, but in an arm wrestling, my upper body
And the
strength is
flashback to the Office episode where they do like leg curls against.
Yes. I would win that all day over Lucas. But arm wrestling, I would just default.
Now, if it was a
really-
rap battle at like an underground street club with folks looking in, Kevin would have you beat Lucas.
Oh yeah, I have to like write all my stuff ahead of time. I can't, come up with stuff off the top of my head. I think
Kevin
that's
is
pretty
Beat
epic.
Rabbit, and Lucas is Malibu's Most Wanted. Like this is how this works.
Wow.
Nice callback. That's great.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I I do not have very good upper body strength at all. You know how, in school when everyone was like, all your guy friends were like, let's arm wrestle, because why not? You're a bunch of dudes. I was always the guy who like lost to everybody, even the guy who like everyone beat that guy except for me. And so I was the guy that everyone beat, at the end. So I've never had good upper body strength, honestly. Yeah. So I think it would be probably the worst arm wrestling match in history.
I was going to say,
leg wrestling.
Leg wrestling.
Let me tell you something, brother.
I'm gonna put you in a leg lock. Yeah. I think we have a new Patreon goal. You hit a certain tier. Lucas and I were arm wrestling the most pathetic arm wrestling match.
No, you have to leg wrestle. There's nobody. So
no, we can't do that on Twitch. We will get banned.
So when you say leg wrestling, my mind goes to like playground schoolyard, like monkey bar wrestling, where you're both on the monkey bars and you have to like leg each other off.
No, that requires upper body strength. We can't do that.
More
we
like
just
American
said that.
Gladiators.
You just have to hold on.
Wait, no. We would fall.
Okay.
I pictures us both leg locking each other. Like we're both locked around the waist, like we have each other stuck that way, and like somebody has to flip the other person over. I don't know. Like
just be like, no, I can't say that word.
No, this isn't DLC. Either way, it'd be ridiculous. So there you go, new Patreon goal. Lucas and I will arm wrestle in the most pathetic arm wrestling match, and then the goal after that will be the leg wrestling match, which will be awesome.
Sounds good. I mean, we might have to do it a lot. Like, let's do that again. Oh, I think I almost got you there. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
7 out of 9.
It's 2 a.m. We're all sweaty.
And people are going to, all right, patreon.com/PSVG, everybody. Go hit it up, and Lucas
Patreon's going to blow up right now.
Blow up. Insane.
And please, just $1 could feed my family for at least a week.
I noticed your dog is still around. I saw him in the background earlier, so.
Well,
that's a good thing.
He's got 3 legs now, but what are you going to do?
There you go, everybody. So thank you for sending in your questions. You can always hit us up in the Discord or tweet at me at PSVGKevin, and we will answer or not answer or just basically mock your question like we did tonight. So thanks, everybody. It's time to move on to the news of the week.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite news outlet on the Citadel.
Since Donnie's clacking away. Or that
Not
was
me.
Lucas. That was Lucas.
I'm sorry.
What is this? Flux the pose? No, it's fine.
Apologize.
Donnie, hit us up with the news story. What'd you bring? Because we didn't ask you, but you came prepared anyway.
Well,
so.
I mean, I thought I'd be prepared. I wanted to bring the next in line for the PSVG Prime tabloid news circuit. So, I mean, I brought you guys gamer controversy. You guys excited? Do either of you listen, care, follow to Colin Moriarty?
I know him. Not personally, but I know of him.
I've heard the name.
So, before I even tell the story, I just say full carte blanche to be transparent. I am a Patreon supporter of Colin's Patreon, and I like his podcast and stuff like that. I have been for some time. He does a podcast now called Sacred Symbols, which is probably like the best PlayStation podcast on the internet. Like,
whoa.
In terms of,
have you heard PSXP? Just saying.
No, I haven't. Weeks.
One came out this week.
No, and I love the kids. I told Seth that. I did love the kids. But no, he's very, very popular, as gets tons of money and all that, and his show has thousands and thousands and thousands of downloads. I think he said like 55,000 a week. So pretty big. This is an interesting little news story that's still going on, and it may have changed since the last time I looked it up, but I listened to a podcast the other day, and then I started looking it up on Twitter. And a lot of our friends in our own podcast community have weighed in and taken their sides and all that. So before we even talk about it, I mean, Colin has a history, like a lot of these streamers that we talk about. It seems to be no matter where Colin goes, Colin has something that offends somebody or something like that. Now, being a follower of his for many, many years, I've never seen him say or tweet or anything that I have taken as like explicitly, offensive. It's not like, he hasn't said like racist remarks or anything like that. The most popular or, most known was his incident on International Women's Day where he said, finally some peace and quiet, which was like a joke.
Yeah.
That got him kicked out of Kinda Funny and like hate messages for months. So, I don't think it is offensive. Obviously somebody out there does. That's not really the story here. At least that's not my focus on the story. Colin's podcast, Sacred Symbols, him and his partner, Chris Reagan. There you go. They were offered a panel at PAX West. They accepted. They gave them a theater. So it's kind of important. They gave them a theater over a month ago. They've been promoting their appearances. Colin's been promoting to his fans for over a month, and they pulled it. Mm-hmm. They pulled it without giving them a reason why. Colin has posted the actual emails of it, and it explicitly just says, like, hey, we've pulled your panel. We're sorry. There's no, like, we didn't double book the room. Obviously, it's a theater. It's like one of their biggest rooms, so obviously they're not going to double book something like that. It's not like a little thing on the side. And there's been a lot of, accusations that it's probably because a lot of people that don't like Colin and, his conservative political views and things like that, whether you agree with them or not, have voiced their opinion enough to people that either help promote the event or helped do the event that they pulled the thing. They just pulled his event. That actually, I'm not too particularly upset about these types of things, period. I don't really care about political things like this, but there is an interesting point of this the reason I bring into the show. They pulled it, and they're not offering refunds to anybody that may have wanted to go to the show specifically for them. And notice that they've both promoted, on both sides it's been promoted for over a month. There are people that have pictures, they're tweeting like, hey, I bought tickets, man. I'm flying from Texas to Seattle. I have hotel rooms. I bought tickets. Like, I want to cancel, and they're offering no refunds. They're saying, hey, it says on your ticket, subject to change. Yeah. They have offered Colin. They still haven't told him why, but they said, hey, we're sorry that we had to do this. They'll refund Colin for his airfare, and they will revoke his pass for doing so. So I thought it, because there's a lot of things that I really want to say about this, because whether you like him or not, and there's people on both sides, right? I like him. I know people that don't. That's not really the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to make that it feels like there's an injustice here. And I do think it's very interesting, because I think if it wasn't Colin, if it was, I'm just trying to pull somebody. Give me one of your big
Jim Sterling.
Give me, he's kind of like Colin. Give me one of your bigs, like give us Ninja or one of your streamers or something like this. If it was somebody else, if it was what if it was Kelly like Plaguey at GameSpot?
Yeah.
The opposite of Colin Moriarty, if you will. If it was her, I think there'd be a lot of outrage. I think IGN would have covered it. I think Polygon would have covered it. I think Kotaku would have covered it. If it was anything like in this realm, I think there would be a lot of people saying like, hey, like what if it was Jason Schreier? What if Jason Schreier had a PAX West panel and somebody decided to pull it without giving him don't you think there'd be a lot of people talking about it? And it just seems like this has fallen on deaf ears, except for obviously the people that bought tickets and wanted to go.
Yeah, I think based on his, leaning to the right there, that isolates him a little bit as far as like the mainstream media covering it. And I think that's mistake number one. I'm going to turn this a little bit here. This, I feel like, is PAX's problem in the first place. You know who Colin is. You know he doesn't separate his entertainment from his beliefs, if you will, which some entertainers do and some do not. And he doesn't. And he doesn't hide it. That's fine. He still has that core audience. That's huge, clearly. But the problem is if you're not ready to stand to the people who object to that, good or bad, left or right, doesn't matter who it is, then you never should have booked it in the first place. You get somebody else that will not be a polarizing figure, if you will. So this is bad on PAX altogether. They just don't want to stand by what their decision was in the first place. They never should have booked this one. I don't blame them for not wanting to get involved in politics at all, but they never should have brought him into the arena in the first place. It's kind of where my stance is on it. But you're right. If it was somebody else on the left side of things, it would get covered simply because media tends to cover the left, while the right media is always considered to be more sensationalizing stories and kind of blowing it out of proportion. So I feel like if somebody did cover it on Colin's side, they would be like, this is the worst, most outrageous thing. Like Donald Trump would tweet about this. This is un-American. This is, this is something he would go off on. And people would be like, are you serious?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, I think that's why the media is kind of just staying away from this topic, but it's bad on PAX. yes, you sold tickets to an event advertising somebody. Yes, things are subject to change. I see it all the time at Comic-Con, and when I used to work with them, we would see like, hey, they start selling tickets for these big name people, and then 2 weeks before, all of a sudden they got to film a movie so that they're not going to that, and stuff happens. They don't refund. That's normal policy. I will say I find it very weird that people are willing to fly in just to see him. Yeah. I don't get that. Like, that would be people flying in to see us at an event that has 9,000 other things going on that's way more interesting than listening to people basically do a live podcast. To me, I feel like people are blowing that out of proportion. Nobody was booking a trip just to go see him. I feel like that's nuts.
That I do.
If he could sell tickets doing that, he would do a show and tour doing it. Like, you look at people like Kevin Smith, who does it all the time, travels the country podcasting, selling out to full stadiums. If he really could do that, he would know, number one, and I feel like he would do that on his own. He wouldn't need to be doing it at PAX. He would just travel and do shows.
Okay. I mean, I can't disagree with that. The only thing I could say is maybe he just doesn't want to do that.
Sure.
You know, but like, I mean, I definitely, having followed it and like seeing, because it's everywhere. Every time PAX tweets,
yeah,
there is a waterfall of people going, "Where's my refund for wanting to come to the Colin?" And they're not just they're people posting tickets. Like, I paid you $105 to come to this show because obviously maybe they want to see something else, but a lot of people
right. That's what I mean. Like, you're not going to PAX with all this gaming stuff, whether it's, you know, tabletop stuff, whether it's video game stuff. All this stuff is going on. In my head, there's no way you're going to go see a C-grade podcaster. Like, that's not what you go book flights for. If you're local, you may have bought a ticket saying, oh, this is cool, this is my chance to maybe meet him. Okay, for $100, sure. But if you're traveling, if I was in Rhode Island flying to Los Angeles to see him, I would expect my wife to slap me and be like, what the heck is wrong with you? You're booking airfare, so it's $300 to $400. You're booking a hotel room, $300 to $400, and you got a ticket for $100, not counting all your food and all your other expenses, to go see who? It makes no sense to me. So I think that's being overplayed, I think, a little bit.
Okay.
But Lucas, you've been quiet.
No, I mean, I really don't have much more to add. I think you said everything that I was thinking. I agree. Like, I wouldn't. But see, like, I'm not used to. I've never really been to a convention anyway, so I don't know. I just think you could still go and have a good time. Like you said, it's subject to change. Like, it sucks,
is subject to change. I'm interested in, if you're going to cancel a show like this and not provide I do think that he's owed at least a response.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
You just can't cancel. Like, that's just lowbrow. Like, if you're going to cancel it, tell them why. You know, like, you have all, and I'm not arguing that it's right or wrong to cancel it. Their event, it's a private event. They do whatever they want. That's fine. If you're going to cancel something you've promoted, you owe it to the creator to tell them why. You do, and you do it and pay. You do it in writing. You owe it to them. That's the least you could do. Just, we don't like you anymore. I don't care what you write, but you got to say something. They've literally said nothing. But if you're going to cancel and you're not going to stand behind a reason, maybe you flex, maybe you bend on your strategy a little bit and you go, we'll offer refunds, you know, for these people, you know,
or at least book somebody of equal appeal.
Maybe.
Yeah, another big show to say, okay, yes, Colin wasn't there, but we got so-and-so who may not be your cup of tea, but pulls in the same amount of people.
Maybe you put ramifications on it. You know, like, prove to us that you were a Patreon supporter of his, or you booked your ticket after the announcement was made that he was showing up. You know, like, put something on it, in you know, above and beyond like the regular one, but at least offer a refund. Because I feel like right now they're just taking on the chin, and I actually think it's, like, justfully so. You can't just cancel an event and then, like, just hole up somewhere. Like you said, you got to answer. You got to answer to the people.
That's what makes no sense is PAX always sells out. Offer the refunds. You're going to sell the darn tickets anyway. Like, they're not going to take a loss. I don't get it at all.
That is so. Then I think, and that's really where I wanted to bring the thing here. Not only to maybe at least paint maybe some sort of double standard here but really more than that. Just offer the refunds. Yeah. Just like, look, we've wanted to go a different way. We're sorry. We're happy to refund anybody that bought their tickets. We'll pay for your airfare. You know, they'll strike that off.
See, airfare I wouldn't do. You can refund
his airfare.
Oh, yes.
His airfare. He's booked
anybody
hotel
and
airfare.
Tickets, just
yeah,
like,
no, of course not.
You have up until 2 weeks before the event to get a refund. After that, sorry, you're SOL. It's on you. You know, you should have done it earlier. But okay.
Yeah.
I think we're all kind of on the same page here. All right, I'll go next. I have one story I posted in here that I'm not really going to cover because we kind of can't cover, but I'm going to add it to the show notes. And if you're listening, I want you to check it out. There's a link of 25 pictures from the history of video games. So this past week, the Fortnite World Cup did come to a head, and a 16-year-old kid won $3 million cash money. So BuzzFeed News put together an article kind of documenting pictures from Pong to a multi-billion-dollar esports industry, and kind of it's just cool to see the evolution of games over the last 50 years at this point too. Just see like these old pictures as it goes through time. You see Toys R Us in its heyday. You see old computers, the Game Boy, stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. I think everyone's just trying to check it out and look at these pictures. This is an interesting thing. Not really anything to talk about. Just a little history lesson for you youngins that may not know your roots, if you will. But the big story that broke today as we're recording, so on Thursday, was my favorite streamer, not really, Ninja, has left Twitch. Now, this story, I will say, I think shocked everyone, including myself. So I'm interested in this story because I want to know details. But he released a video earlier today that he will be streaming exclusively on Mixer going forward. No more Twitch. That same day, Twitch took away his sponsor status, like the little check mark you'd have if you were a Twitch affiliate, is gone right away. Made an announcement, said he's going back to his roots. So on and so forth. He's known basically for playing Fortnite. He doesn't really play too much else, although he did play Apex at the launch to somewhat controversy. I believe I covered it on the show where EA paid him $1 million to play Apex on launch day. One freaking day to play Apex, $1 million. So with that being said, he made $1 million for one day from EA. How much is Microsoft paying him to play on their platform every day for the unforeseen future? It's got to be a multi-million-dollar contract. Like Coach Hulk said at first, he's like, oh, it's probably $500,000. It's like, no way, Coach. It's got to be multi-million dollars. I will say, good on Ninja for this move. You can make the money, bro. Microsoft clearly has it. Microsoft is invested in Mixer and wanting to take down Twitch. So it's Amazon versus Microsoft, two of America's biggest conglomerates. Like, go for it. This is a smart move for him. The thing I'm not happy about, and I brought this up actually in Flexapo's Discord because Jason tagged me in this post. I was like, oh, you haven't seen, we've been talking about this already. I made the joke that I'm going to stop supporting Mixer, which is not going to happen because I ironically enjoy Mixer because of its friendly, happier environment. Mixer, for whatever reason, has largely avoided the toxicity, the trolls in chat, so on and so forth. Like, that's just not there in Mixer. People are generally happy to support each other. You have like I'm forgetting what it's called now. When you're playing Mixer and you're playing either in Fortnite, Hype Zone for Fortnite, Call of Duty, Apex Legends, and what's the other one? Overwatch? I don't know, whatever. But like as you get to the finals to about win a game, they will broadcast you basically on this Mixer channel to instantly expose you to tens of thousands of people watching this channel. Like basically it's the highlight reel.
That's cool.
It's the sports center of, esports where like, hey, you're down to the final three. Let's go to Kevin who's streaming in Apex Legends. Let's show him. And all of a sudden like your chat blows up from 3 people to, 3,000 people are watching. And you're like, holy crap, this is cool. So Microsoft has always been, and this has kind of been their marketing message lately, is like everybody plays. This is for gamers by gamers. Everybody deserves a chance to play. And Mixer's largely celebrated that. Now I will say within minutes of the Ninja announcement coming out, he had his page up on Mixer. You could get a free subscription to his channel for a month if you wanted to right off the bat, which got you access to exclusive emotes and stuff. I don't know. Makes no sense to me. But whatever. It's there. But instantly, even though he is not streaming, those chat rooms are always live on your channels, whether you're broadcasting or not. His chat room was already full of the F this, F that, you're a bitch, you're whatever, like all to each other, not to Ninja. Like these are people in the chat already bringing the toxic over from Twitch over to here. And that makes me sad because that's the downside of this. Now, Ninja will put Mixer in front of a whole bunch of eyes that have never seen it before. Yes, that's a smart marketing move. However, I think they're ruining the environment and the culture that Mixer has already. And that makes me a little sad. Donnie's thoughts.
What?
Donnie glosses over when we talk about streamers, even though this is literally the biggest gaming story of probably the last couple months, I would say.
I mean, for a select, I mean, I wouldn't even call it a small. It's definitely a big group of gamers. Sure, maybe this is their biggest gaming story. It's not mine. I'm not really into this type of stuff. I don't really care outside. I mean, it sounds great. It's capitalism. I mean, it just showcases a great example of what if you lean into this and maybe get a little bit of luck and become popular, there is an avenue to do something that's got to be inspiring people out there somewhere. Ninja's the guy that wouldn't play games with girls, right?
Yep.
Okay. So your point about Mixer's friendly environment, I mean, how much do you worry that with him heading over there, surely more followers to follow, that your environment is going to be tainted? And at that point, like what might happen. But at the same time, when you said that, my initial thought, I don't know this to be true. This is just my impression. So I have no numbers. I don't even know if they exist. My initial impression, my response to you was, well, how many people are really streaming on Mixer versus Twitch? Like maybe Twitch, maybe we know the toxic Twitch because it just has, 10 million more people on it than Mixer. I don't know. Luke Lore's the one person I know that streams on Mixer.
Yeah. Right now, right this second, there's 15,000 people just streaming Fortnite alone. Another 7,000 doing Apex, 5,000 doing PUBG, 6,000 people doing music.
Yeah, so there are people
using it.
Yeah, of course there's people using it. That doesn't sound like crazy. I remember when Mixer launched, there was a lot of comparison numbers and stuff like that. I mean, I think it's it's pretty safe to say that there's a reason why they probably paid Ninja millions of dollars to do this, because they're trying to make their push, their app successful. They know they'll get eyes, and with eyes will come people that will stream and stuff on their own, right? I mean, that's why they're doing this, is because Mixer's probably not leading the industry. And they want to?
Right.
So
as of right now, I hopped in his chat right now and here to see. Everything's still going. People are still chatting in this room right now, but there's nobody there. He has already 186,000 followers. Almost 187,000 followers, which is, he had 14,000 subscribers on Twitch. So those are people that actually paid. So it'll be interesting to see is when you can actually subscribe to him with having to pay, because right now it's free for the first month. To see how many people actually pay to watch him after that. But yeah. I mean, there's the reason that they're doing is they need to become more popular. They're probably not nearly as popular as Twitch. And that's the reason why they're doing this. So good on them. I mean, I think this is good for everybody involved, but I'm not really into it. So it's not the biggest news story to me. I've never watched Ninja stream. So. I just meant because there's millions of dollars in play here, which is more than what some games make at this point, just to have somebody market a game essentially. Like,
sure,
Microsoft is going to pay him to play Halo and stuff like that.
And that's what I was wondering if, does this just become, because Mixer is so ingrained in Xbox. Yeah. Does this become Ninja at Xbox at E3? Is he playing 100%. Halo Infinite when it's launched?
Absolutely.
Like, are they going to lean? Is he now like a Microsoft employee?
I think he kind of has to be at this point. He'll still, I'm sure,
spokesperson.
Right. Like he'll still be playing Fortnite because that's what get people to watch it. But I guarantee you, anytime there's something coming up that they want to highlight, he's playing it.
Does he unveil like the Halo Battle Royale?
He could.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, if he's the most popular guy in the world in terms of people that watch games, then yeah, you'd want him on your team, especially if you're, in last place.
Yep. All right, Lucas, hit us up with some news, brother.
Yeah. All right, I have one real actual news article. The rest is just a little bit of fun. So let's get the business out of the way, shall we? So Respawn Entertainment will apparently reveal a AAA VR first-person shooter at Oculus Connect this says, I don't know why this says this, but I believe it's October, actually. October 6th is what I read. So obviously, the makers of Titanfall 1 and 2, Apex Legends, never heard of that game before, and the upcoming Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, not really a shooter, but still, I don't know. Like, I'm really excited for this. Now, this is an Oculus exclusive game, so it does put a damper on things a little bit. I don't know if it's exclusive for a timed exclusive or what, but if this is on the level of those games, this is what VR needs. Like, they need a big developer to come in and make a legit game that people can play on VR, because there are some games coming out now here and there, but they're all kind of made by these weird European studios that don't have a lot of money behind them. So I don't know. Like, this could be a game changer. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this is about, because right now there's like hardly nothing. There's a teaser trailer talking about how they want to change. It almost sounds like a really realistic take on war, and it might even give you PTSD after you play. I don't know. It sounds like that's what they're gunning for, because in that teaser trailer they talk about what it's like to be in the midst of a war, like what you would actually be feeling, fear, all that stuff. So if this is a legit game that can, move product and get people back into VR, and an actual game that, it never really had the system seller or, whatever. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what it's about. Now, the question is, with it being an Oculus exclusive, is it only the Rift? Is it the Quest, which is a little underpowered?
Right.
Those are questions that have yet to be answered. But, I'm going to keep my eyes on this one, because I want to see what this is about. They have a good reputation, a good pedigree here. So yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing. We don't need any more experiences.
No,
I don't need to know what it feels like to go rock climbing.
Yep.
I don't know how many times I've seen trailers for VR games where the people show you, like whoever's playing the game shows you like, oh, you can touch this chain and it'll move in real time. Like, games have had physics for a long time now. Physics aren't impressive anymore. I need actual gameplay. I need to see virtual reality gameplay with staying power. No more experiences. So, yeah, you guys are buying Rifts right now that you see this?
Yeah, Donnie's breaking out the Patreon credit card.
Company account. I love it.
Yep.
Nope.
Nice.
No, I am interested to see what it is, because, I mean, if they're calling it a AAA experience, like, I don't think anybody's had the testicular fortitude to say that as far as VR is concerned, that they're bringing out something big yet. It's always like, no, we have this game, even though it's really not a game, it's an experience, as you said. This is different. This sounds like it's gonna be different, at least. And they're confirming it's not a Titanfall or Star Wars game. So
yes, that it's a new IP. That's also that's part of it too. But yeah, it always feels like they put like 4 people to go work on this joke of a game because it's for VR. So we'll see.
Cool. All right, what else you got?
Let's see. What was my other one here? Okay, so this wasn't really much of a news article, but I did find it and I thought it was interesting. So this it's kind of sad, but we'll put our spin on it. So this guy posts in Reddit that a friend of his passed away, and his parents put his remains, his ashes, in a Master Chief Spartan helmet.
Oh.
Now, that's not the reaction that I was expecting.
Does that have like a bottom? Or is the helmet like upside down?
What do you mean? Oh, no. Yeah. It's like, I would assume it's like a cookie jar. You take the lid off and pour the contents in, and then put the, like the top part, and then you put it on your mantle, and now you're stuck with.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I'd rather have like, Chief's helmet on a shelf than like an urn.
Well, that's what I'm at. That led me to my next question is, what do you guys want to be buried in, or, have your ashes put into?
It's the Halo 3 specific helmet. So that came with the collector's edition. So yeah, it's more of like a statue. So they must have drilled in.
So it's like a jar. Okay.
Yeah.
Because when you said a helmet, I was like
it is.
Oh, you meant like literally the helmet just upside down. Okay, I apologize. No, it's like a statue.
I'm sitting here thinking of like a helmet full of ashes. I'm like, that's weird.
The caption is the best part. A friend
of
mine passed away recently. His parents used this as his urn. I hope he respawns into a better server next time.
Yeah.
Oh,
you can put mine in my Chucky doll.
Oh God, no! Isn't how Chucky came to life. Like,
come on.
Isn't that how that happened?
It's kind of the second hope, right?
For you.
I mean, for anybody.
I'm not podcasting with that thing.
I mean, dude, we'd have hella amount of Mixer followers if I could talk through a Chucky doll. I'm just saying.
That is true. Just don't come back and murder us. As long as we can
be
use
like a cool Chucky doll.
yeah,
he's
I
the
don't
cool
know.
Chucky.
Cool
Yeah, I mean,
Chucky.
I can't put myself in
Rugrats?
a Wii U. You put me in like a Wii U
God.
gamepad.
First time the Wii U's had life in a long time.
Oh.
Hey-o. All right,
Hey-o.
so I got
Kevin.
one more thing, and then Donnie's got something. So
Wait,
we're
no,
gonna-
you want? Okay, fine.
Sorry.
Kevin's being buried in a Nuka-Cola bottle. The end.
Oh, that's a good call. Good call. Fall reference for those of you who don't know.
Shit boy.
Boy.
No, I'd rather be in a Nuka-Cola bottle. Makes more sense. GameStop lays off dozens of regional managers as it continues to search for a future. As we've talked about a few times, GameStop has kind of been in the market to find somebody who hopes to buy
It's
the
in
company.
market to die. It's dying. Everybody stop writing stories. It's just going away.
It's just going away. You know, they sold off Think Geek, and they just have a small portion
This
in
is
there.
sadder than like Toys R Us and Kmart. Like just
It
get
is.
on with it. Like just
It is.
close.
Yep. The email was real, widespread. 50 plus district leaders, 6 regional leaders, multiple HR people, and loss prevention staff.
You know,
all gone.
I did see an interesting tweet from Matt Piscatella, like the financial video games analysis guy. He noticed that he said that, I'm paraphrasing, but it's around this. Physical game sales year over year are only down a couple % than where they were in like 2013.
But digital's way up, so it's weird.
Digital's way up. So that's the thing. Like that's kind of like his flag that he keeps trying to inform gamers about as we podcast and say these things. He's like, just because digital's on the rise doesn't mean physical's on the in a
decline.
sharp decline.
Yeah, it just means we're buying more games in general.
The question is,
games.
then why is GameStop losing so much money?
Because GameStop's terrible.
Because nobody wants to go there, because you
Yeah.
have all these people who work here and they judge you for what you're buying, and I can just order it online on my phone, and then I don't have to worry about leaving my house.
And I did send a few messages his way. He didn't respond, but I mean, I would just offer the rebuttal that it's probably because while physical sales haven't been in a sharp decline, that doesn't necessarily mean they're being made at GameStop.
Exactly.
I don't know exactly where he's pulling his information. Like I still
Yeah.
buy lots of physical games
Right.
on Amazon and at Best Buy and all these places that don't help GameStop at all.
Exactly.
And,
And I mean, when I went to a GameStop not that long ago, I forget for what. Oh, when I traded in my games to get Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
So launch day for a game, not a huge game, but a game, 1 employee to 15 customers in the store. So
Oh.
even if you wanted customer service,
bad.
you're not gonna get it. And then they're not. Like, I mean, yes, there's certain stores that are exceptions. Hands down, like the one you used to go to sounded like a great one.
I love
I've
games.
never had that experience since college. I had one GameStop that was okay, but they've all just been in a sharp decline. You don't want to go there. They don't really have. Like, it's weird. They have these giant walls, but they never have stuff in stock for the most part. Like, it's very limited resources what they have, other than pre-owned.
My thing is always about condition. Like I don't want
Yeah.
limited beat up game. I don't want a game with a GameStop cover on it.
Yes,
I want the
I
game
refuse
with
that.
a real cover on it.
Yep.
You know, and the thing is like, so you've got a bunch of games on the wall. It's just like like shelves of software. I'd rather you keep them in a box behind the thing. Like put
Yes.
some arcade machines in there. Like
Yes.
make it fun. Like I used to love going to my GameStop, and that's why I don't go anymore. It's not fun to go to
It's
anymore.
sad. It's sad. Like you said, just hurry up and die, GameStop.
Stop asking me if I want to pre-order a game. I'm buying a game right now. I don't need to pre-order. If I wanted to pre-order
Another
something,
thing.
I would tell you.
And you're not even going to be open when this game releases. You're going to be out of business. I'm not
Would
pre-ordering
it be
nothing.
on them to save as much as they can and close as fast as possible, or is
Yeah.
that just like a publicly traded thing? You can't do that to the investors.
I mean, probably a little bit of both.
They'll probably
I mean,
just supplant anybody that wants to put that.
But I'm
I'd say
surprised
motion.
you're releasing people who manage multiple stores, but yet there was no announcement of closing stores yet.
Oh, that's coming.
I'm sure
And
it's
they'll-
coming, but it's just odds. Like, start by closing some stores to release the capital first. But
Do you think GameStop could survive if they just went like super minimal and just focused on major markets?
no.
I wondered if they would keep a couple of brick and mortar stores in some of the
Could they
larger
franchise?
areas.
And just let people buy them and make their own GameStops? And
Nobody
just use
wants
the-
to buy a dying store.
Still has name appeal.
franchise.
But mom and pop shops don't even do that well.
It's got marketing, it's got systems and things that you could do. But like, let's say you had an idea and you thought you could run your own GameStop, right? You use the name, you use their system, but like maybe you put arcades in, and maybe you have, game nights or tournaments and things like that.
I think you're better off just trying to
But
do
then
it.
you have the corporate
You got
red
barcades for
tape
that.
about like, oh,
That's
well,
true.
we don't allow that in our,
If
it's
you
got to
have
look
barcades-
exactly the same.
Yeah, you always have marketing restrictions when you have franchise. Like McDonald's, like you can franchise a McDonald's, but doesn't mean you can do whatever you want at McDonald's.
That's true.
It's like you can't serve spaghetti at McDonald's. They don't do that. At least
And
not-
barcades, you can't really they don't as far as I've known, they're not super successful, especially out of major markets, especially
Exactly.
without
Yep.
an alcohol license.
Yep, exactly.
So, yeah.
But All right, Donnie, you got the last story. Quick hit. Sounds like.
Yeah. So we talked about this on Nintendo Switch, on Nintendo Shack last night, and it basically became true today. So we talked about how Captain Toad is getting a free trial in Japan from Nintendo Switch Online, and we were wondering if that type of stuff was going to make its way to us. It is. For between August 7th and August 13th, if you're a Nintendo Switch Online subscriber, you will be able to play Mario Tennis Aces, the full game, as much as you want. So between those dates, for like a full week, you can just play Mario Tennis Aces. And it's also 30% off if you want to buy it and own it forever. Mm-hmm. So it's not them giving us a game, but it's also, giving you free roam over one of their full retail games. In their service, it's still only $20 a year. So it's not like $60 a year. So it's something.
No, it's definitely cool. I think this is a step in the right direction. I still want my SNES games, but this is definitely a cool thing. Like I am the person who will never have decided to buy Mario Aces. Like that was just never going to happen. I will try this. Maybe it'll change my opinion. Probably not. But hey, they have that opportunity. They're getting me to at least try it.
Both me and Jason didn't like the demo much, but they've changed this game so much since then that I'm interested in. I'm interested in knowing if it's worth buying. It'd be interesting if they keep doing this going forward. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe they do it once or twice a year, but it doesn't.
They don't have enough games to do it all the time.
It doesn't sound like a program. Yeah. But we were talking about this when Nintendo Switch Online was announced, and we thought that they were going to rotate games through.
Yeah.
Remember, they'll give you one for a month and then take it away.
Take it away. That's what we thought.
I don't like that, but at the same time, the point I kept making was I actually think it might be decent for you to throw this in for a week, and it basically becomes like a community game. Everybody's going to play that week because it's free. It'd be cool to have during a Splatfest, here's Splatoon for free and everybody can play because you'd have more people would play.
A rotating list of games of first-party titles that just do that every once in a while would be awesome. I mean, Steam does that every once in a while. I don't even know how that works, but every once in a while they have a free weekend game. It's usually a multiplayer game, and I've checked out some games. Granted, I've not bought 90% of them, but some of them that. More importantly, some of them I thought were about buying, I didn't buy because I was like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was at all.
Let me ask you this, because you go to, you rent games from the library, and I'm not sure if you do, Kevin, or Redbox. How much would it cost to rent a game for a week?
Oh, geez. It's was it $3 or $4 a day for games, I think?
At Redbox?
At Redbox?
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely more expensive than the Blu-ray, so I think it's $3 or $4. I've only used it for free trials.
So at Redbox,
free codes for game night.
Yeah. That would cover your Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah, easily.
Okay.
Yeah, so cool. Good to see. Lucas, you got one more?
Yeah, I have one more. It's ridiculous, okay? It's not even news. It's just I saw it and I'm like, we've got to talk about this. Now, I understand some people are not gamers in the world, and I understand that mistakes can be made. I mean, God bless this poor guy. So not just this guy either, but we'll get to that. Pakistani politician mistakes a Grand Theft Auto 5 stunt video for real life and congratulates the pilot in this video.
I'm watching the video right now. This is ridiculous.
Now, there are so many markers. I know we can't share the video, but basically what happens is a camera is following this this oil tanker, drives onto a runway, and this plane, this giant Airbus, is about to land, and at the last second sees this tanker sitting on the runway and pulls up, and there's probably a 4 foot, 3 foot space between them before they don't contact and they fly off again. Now, there are so many markers on this thing that tell you it's not real, from the way that the semi moves and then suddenly just stops to, I don't know, the fact that it looks like a video game.
How about the camera? How was that shot? It's partially in the air and the camera swings around. Unless you have a professional movie studio rig ready to do this, an amateur video would not catch this as it's going on. It
reminds me of one of those recreations they do when they try to take the computer and try to show how it happened, how it all went down. Now here's the thing. It wasn't just this Pakistani politician. It was also physicsastronomy.org. So, I mean, he's not alone, but I don't understand. Do we not look at things and, just
imagine you're a politician who's never played video games.
But you're a politician tweeting about a potential terrorist attack is what he labeled it as.
Yeah.
That this was a terrorist attack in Algeria. failed to work because of the pilot's skill. So you're a politician. Wouldn't you at least make sure, like, hey, was there actually a terrorist attack?
Like, check that.
Yeah.
I can tell you that we've done drills. We especially do this one drill at a local university in downtown Atlanta where we do an active shooter and we moulage a bunch of college kids and we do it overnight.
Yeah.
Twitter lights up. We get all kind. We had thousands.
Oh,
of
yeah.
like active shooter over here in the block and so and so. We actually have PIOs on hand to dispel rumors because they just know what's going to happen because people look out the window. They don't check. They don't call. They take pictures. It's all about speed, right? That's the world we live in. Look at this picture I took.
I want to be the first person to break this. And
at least it's real people in those cases, though. It's not.
It's not a computer simulation.
Yeah.
I will say that this article does end with the fact that it is getting continually more difficult to recognize what's real and what's fake, especially when it comes to real videos that have been faked on purpose.
We get faked out on games and game footage and game designs and game prototypes. We get faked out of this stuff all the time.
It's true.
Not real footage.
It's true. All right, so I think that wraps up our show tonight. Donnie, thank you for joining us. But before we depart, where can people find you and your other online works of art, if you will?
Just follow the podcast at Shack Life. Actually, Shack Life on Twitter, the Nintendo Shack, all of being Caroline's doings. Just do that.
There you go. Lucas, where can people find you and your online shenanigans?
Well, before
those two.
Yes, I'm like, what? Before I answer, I need to know what's going on behind you. You're about to get murdered.
What happened?
Chucky,
I didn't
look behind
see
you. There's a curtain. It's behind you in real life. Please look behind you. It's freaking me out.
Around.
Tell me what is. Holy crap!
Tell me.
I'm kidding. It's the kid. It's the kitten messing with the curtain.
Okay, like, tell me it's cat.
I mean, I figured it was, but I noticed it, and I looked at Lucas's eyes, and I knew that's what he was thinking.
It freaked me out so bad, I almost looked behind me, and that doesn't even make any sense.
I thought you said something was behind Donnie. That's why I was confused at first. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I wouldn't know. He's got the blur thing.
That's true.
You can check me out on the Flux to Post podcast. We do a lot of what just happened there. A lot of nonsense. I'm on Discord, of course, and I'm on Twitter at Heavy Metal Riff. And there's an underscore in there. I'll let you put it in wherever you want.
Ooh.
That's DLC. Follow me at PSVG Kevin. Follow the show at PSVG. Head over to psvg.blog to find links to all the stuff we do. We have some guests and announcements coming up over the next couple weeks, which is going to be cool. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for telling a friend. We love you all, but most importantly, as always, remember, never
stop
gaming.
This has been a PSVG production. Any music, sound effects, or the like is owned by their respective copyright holders. No infringement is intended. The views expressed in this production are those of the individual contributor and may not necessarily reflect PSVG. This production may not be repurposed, reused, or redistributed without the express written consent of PSVG. PSVG is powered by patrons at patreon.com/PSVG. Become a patron to get special perks, including access to exclusive content.